Israel steps up its offensive on Gaza, staging its first ground raid. It followed another night of heavy bombardment from the air as Hamas rockets target Tel Aviv in response. Also on the programme, Cameron contemplates his reshuffle with women MPs set for promotion. And football's biggest prize, Argentina face Germany in the World Cup final.
This is ITV News with James Mates.
Good evening. From the air and now on the ground, Israel has stepped up its offensive against Hamas. For the first time since the fighting began almost a week ago, ground troops have crossed the border into Gaza. Israeli Navy commandos destroyed a rocket launching site being used to target Israel. That followed another night of Israeli airstrikes, which officials in Gaza say have now killed 165 Palestinians. From Gaza, our Middle East correspondent Geraint Vincent reports.
The death toll climbs ever higher in Gaza, and sometimes it leaps. In an air raid on the home of a police chief last night, 18 people were killed. And many more left to mourn. Israel is relentless in its bombardment of the Palestinian territory. It is determined to deal a significant blow to Hamas, which has fired hundreds of rockets at Israel in the last week. After a cabinet meeting this morning, Israel's Prime Minister warned that this could be a long campaign. And he accused Hamas of using civilians as human shields for its command centres. The air raids had emptied Gaza's streets, but this morning they were busy briefly again, with families who were seeking shelter from yet more Israeli airstrikes. Hundreds found it at this school. These people are all from the north of Gaza who have heeded warnings from the Israeli armed forces to clear out of their homes. So the classrooms here have become places of sanctuary. Amani Abu Lila and her children have moved into one of them. 3 of my neighbours' homes have been blown up, she told me. My children are terrified. For the first time in this operation, the Israeli military put boots on the ground last night in a commando raid on a coastal rocket launching site. But still the rockets fly, and while both sides continue to raise the stakes in this conflict, on the ground, there's a growing human cost. Geraint Vincent, ITV News, on the Gaza Strip.
Well, the Foreign Secretary William Hague today called for an urgent end to that violence in Gaza and for a restoration of the ceasefire. Our diplomatic correspondent John Ray is in Ashdod, near the Gaza border. John, it's not just the Foreign Secretary. All around the world, people want an end to this fighting. Not much sign of it.
No, indeed. You get the feeling here very distinctly that there are several days of war yet to run here before either side is seriously going to talk about peace. About 20 miles south of where I am, across the border into Gaza, today counted as the bloodiest day yet in this week-long conflict. And behind me here, you might just be able to make out in the setting sun 2 of Israel's Iron Dome missile defense batteries. They too have been busy today trying to stop Hamas rockets targeting Tel Aviv and other towns and cities. We drove along this border today and we saw fresh Israeli troops taking up new positions. I think, though, the chances of those becoming a full invasion force, that seems to have rescinded somewhat. More positively, though, I think we can say that diplomacy is starting to move with some purpose. John Kerry, the US Secretary of State, spoke to Benjamin Netanyahu today, underlined the US's desire to find a truce, talked again about the dangers of this escalating not just here, but across a very, very tense region. You get the idea this is moving towards some kind of UN Security Council resolution, but to emphasise, for the moment, neither side seems to be under sufficient pressure to draw a halt to this bloody conflict.
John, thank you. The Pope has said that as many as 8,000 Catholic clergy, 1 in 50, are paedophiles. In an interview with the Italian newspaper La Repubblica, he called the abuse of children a leprosy infecting the church. Pope Francis also promised to confront the abuse with the severity it demands. At least 33 people have been killed, 29 of them women, after gunmen stormed 2 buildings in Baghdad. The attack took place last night in the east of the Iraqi capital. It's believed the buildings were being used as brothels. And Malala Yousafzai, the schoolgirl who survived being shot in the head by the Taliban, is in Nigeria meeting girls who escaped from the terror group Boko Haram. The teenager says she wants to honour the stories of the girls kidnapped by the militant Islamist group in April. David Cameron is finalising his new cabinet this weekend. He's expected to promote more women and younger MPs to his top team in next week's reshuffle, with some of his more experienced ministers making way. Our political correspondent Romilly Weeks is in Westminster. Romilly, what names should we be looking out for?
Well, it will have been a nerve-wracking weekend for some in government, wondering whether they've done enough to curry favour with the Prime Minister to stay in post, although some of those most likely to be in the danger zone, like Kenneth Clarke and Sir George Young, have been around for so long, they'll probably be grateful of the chance to retire gracefully. The big beasts of the cabinet won't be going anywhere, although Tuesday is unlikely to be a red-letter day for male pale Tory MPs, because it's women who are tipped for promotion. People like Esther McVey, Employment Minister Nicky Morgan, who's currently in the Treasury, and Liz Truss, who's an Education Minister. The Prime Minister really needs to sort out the dearth of women in his cabinet, rather belatedly, you might say, although conveniently it will give him a more female and TV-friendly face to present to the electorate ahead of the general election.
Romilly, thank you very much indeed. In just over 2 hours' time, Germany will take on Argentina in the World Cup final in Rio. Germany are favourites as they look for their 4th title. Argentina looking for their 3rd. Well, our Brazil correspondent Nick Ravenscroft is outside the Maracanã Stadium tonight. Nick.
James, it's come to this, a month of football, and probably the most important moment in the lives of most of these players who'll be watched by a global audience of about 1 million. Now, as I was coming around the stadium a few moments ago, there were shouts of Deutschland, but the German fans are massively outnumbered, and today, Rio de Janeiro feels like a little corner of Argentina. Night after night on a concrete floor. No showers, no hot food. For the tens of thousands of Argentinian fans in Rio, this is what it means to follow your dream. Even before breakfast, emotions brimming.
I'm very excited. Today is the day we had to be champion.
Nearby, police were towing away their cars. Brazilians hospitable, but maybe keen to wave goodbye to the noisy neighbours. And noisy they are. They're saying that Argentina will win today.
No, Germany will win.
Yes?
Yes, 3-1.
And certainly off the pitch, the Germans do seem in better shape. Well rested, well groomed, and well in control of their emotions. The Argentinian fans are already super excited.
Yeah, they made party the last few days, and we calm down and concentrate for the match.
We have German coolness.
And so to the Maracanã, where the bragging will soon stop, and the tournament, perhaps the most entertaining in a generation, will finally be decided. So, will Lionel Messi finally achieve greatness in a World Cup, putting him on a par with people like Pelé and Diego Maradona? As for Germany, they've won no major tournament since Euro '96. Today, their coach saying that he wants today to mark the start of a period of German football domination. But there is, of course, 90 minutes against a determined Argentina before he's anywhere near saying that.
Nick, thanks very much. And that game is live here on ITV. Coverage starts at 7. The game itself kicks off at 8. And that's it from us. We'll be back later after the football. Till then, good evening.
preparing the nation every day. ITV National Weather, sponsored by Vitabiotics Vitamins.
Hello, good evening. Central parts of Britain have seen a pretty good day, but out towards the east it certainly has been much more unsettled. In fact, East Anglia is seeing some pretty heavy downpours through this afternoon. The good news is, as we go through the next few hours, those showers will begin to die away and most parts will become dry. The odd shower still possible in places. Temperatures quite mild, 12 or 13 degrees, but we will lose that muggy feel that's been out towards eastern parts today. Now tomorrow is going to be another change one, I'm afraid. We're going to have low pressure in control, a number of weather fronts heading eastwards, and for us that does mean out towards the west, cloudy skies and outbreaks of rain. That rain moving eastwards through the daytime, so for central and eastern parts it'll be drier and brighter with a high of 24 down in the southeast. Have a great evening. Bye-bye for now.
ITV National Weather, sponsored by Vitabiotics Vitamins.